What is the best way to market? Because there are several different ways to market your business. And today I'm going to talk about the absolute best way you should market in context of the two types of marketing. And that is brand marketing and direct response marketing. I will define both. The first type of marketing is brand marketing. What does brand marketing mean? Well, my last job over 25 years ago when I was a young man in the 1990s was working for Nike at Nike corporate headquarters. And Nike ran a lot of, and still does, run a lot of brand marketing ads. You've probably seen them. It's a commercial and you'll see a big, ripped, sweaty guy who's like a marathon runner, and he'll run in slow motion and you'll see the sweat beating off him, and he'll finally win the race, and then it'll say Nike and it'll show a swoosh. And that's it. That's brand marketing. Brand marketing, its function is to remain top of mind. Its function is to remind you of the company and the company name, but that's it. It doesn't actually drive you to do anything. A great example of brand marketing are the Super Bowl commercials, and everyone loves those, don't they? People watch them on YouTube, and many people now watch the Super Bowl just to watch the Super Bowl commercials. These are quintessential examples of brand marketing, where something really funny and silly happens, it makes you laugh, then they say Doritos, and that's it. Brand marketing is often very entertaining, it's very artistic, it's often very fun. Brand marketing, when it's done well, makes you laugh, it's funny, and it's entertaining. Brand marketing wins all the awards, all the marketing awards, all the advertising awards for their artistic merit and crap like that. And so they get a lot of accolades, and in some cases, they get a lot of eyeballs. However, there's a problem with brand marketing, and I'll give you an example from the Super Bowl commercials. They've done many studies about this. 90%, this is a real statistic from real studies they've done, you can Google this stuff yourself, 90% of people who watch a Super Bowl commercial do not remember what the company was that ran the commercial, or even in many cases, what they were even advertising. They were too busy seeing the visuals or laughing and having fun. Moreover, 60% of Super Bowl commercials do not increase purchases and do not even increase what they call purchase intent, your intent to buy this down the road if you decide to need it. So in other words, brand marketing is very ineffective at actually creating sales that are immediate that your company wants or needs. So then you may ask yourself, well then Caleb, why do all these companies do all this brand marketing if they know it doesn't work? There are two answers to that question. Number one, there is an argument to be made for companies at scale to remain at scale and remain what they call top of mind. When I say companies at scale, I mean huge, gigantic, worldwide companies. Companies like Coca-Cola, companies like Amazon, companies like Apple, companies like General Motors, companies like Nintendo. These are big, gigantic, worldwide companies at scale who argue that we have to do brand advertising because if we're Coca-Cola, we want people to keep thinking Coca-Cola so they don't think Pepsi. And so they justify this massive expense for brand advertising to remain at top of mind. Now, the second reason that many companies run branding advertising is because companies are stupid. And the bigger a company is, the stupider it is, and the more wasteful it is. There are many big corporations that are damn near as wasteful as the federal government. They're awful about this stuff, and they just throw dollars at things because they could afford it, and they're dumb. And I know that's trite, and it sounds stupid, but I will tell you, as a professional business consultant with almost 30 years of experience, having worked with hundreds of companies all over the world, including the Fortune 500, companies are just dumb, and they don't track these numbers. They just shove thousands or millions, in some cases, of dollars at these stupid brand advertisements, and they think they're somehow making a difference when they clearly aren't, and you just saw the statistics from the Super Bowl commercials that prove this. Now, the question you have to ask yourself in all this is, are you a gigantic worldwide company at scale? Are you as big as Amazon? Are you as big as Apple? Are you as big as Hewlett-Packard or Coca-Cola or McDonald's? Are you that big? No. Neither am I. Therefore, we probably shouldn't do branding advertising, ever. I'm going to talk about what you should do in a second. But if you like this content, how to create location-independent income through your own location-independent business, or move to a less bad country, or at least set up an international backup plan, and do all these things for very little money, you should subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, leave a comment on this video, leave a like on this video, and that way you'll be more sure to get this content in the future. Now, there's another type of marketing called direct response marketing or direct response advertising. This is very, very different than branding advertising or branding marketing. Direct response marketing is designed to elicit an immediate response from the prospect to do something. Instead of just saying McDonald's or Nike or Coca-Cola, instead of just saying that, the ad or the marketing mechanism, whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's an ad, commercial, email, doesn't matter, whatever it is, elicits the watcher to do something specific. Click this link, or call this phone number, or download this PDF, or watch this video, or buy this thing. A very specific and immediate action, not like branding advertising where maybe someday you'll buy our product. No, it's an immediate action that you're getting the prospect to take immediately to actually physically do something. When you are not a gigantic worldwide company at scale, and you are not, and I am not, direct response marketing is the only type of marketing you should do. 100% of all the marketing I do, the paid marketing, the paid advertising, the free marketing, because I do a lot of both. And I've done this forever since day one in all my companies when I first learned this way back in the 1990s. 100% of all marketing I do, free or paid, is direct response. I always try to get you, the prospect, to actually do something. Now that something changes based on the context. I've had offline companies, I've had online companies. I've sold services, I've sold information products, I've sold bundles, I've sold all kinds of things. So it depends on the business, depends on the scenario, depends on the modality, depends on the context. But I'm always trying to get the prospect to do something specific. Click this link, call this number, what have you. And the reason for that is when I spend the amount of money or time on these marketing activities, I can determine a very specific ROI. I can see the number of people who did do the thing, who did click the link, and a number of people who didn't click the link, and I can get percentages. And then I can improve upon it. And then as I improve upon it, I improve my profitability, and that allows me to spend even more money on marketing and advertising. Branding advertising, you have no idea what the ROI is. You really don't. It's very similar to social media that way. You don't really know what your ROI is. You're just throwing bazillions of dollars into a bunch of ads, and you're hoping someday you'll make money at that. If you are a gigantic corporation like Apple, then you could afford to waste that kind of money. But if you're like you and me, you can't. So 100% of all your advertising, all your marketing must be direct response. I get questions from you guys occasionally saying, well, is there a time I should do brand marketing? Or, I'll do some brand marketing and some direct response. What percentage split should I do of each? And what are the pros and cons of brand marketing versus direct response? The answer is you should never do any branding ever until you become as big as McDonald's. Good luck. But until you become that big, you should literally never do it. And people say, well, wait a minute, Caleb, that doesn't make sense. You could go on someone's podcast, for example, and you'll get new followers and customers by going on that podcast. That's branding advertising. Correct. If I just went on someone else's podcast, I've done it many times, and I just answered questions and that's it, that would be branding advertising, and that would be very stupid of me. Instead, what I should do is when I go on someone's podcast, this is what you should do if you go on someone's podcast or video or what have you, instead of just answering the questions or instead of just saying, hey, yeah, check out my website at, dingledork.com. No, instead what you should say is, hey, what you should do is go to makeabilliondollar.com, and that goes some kind of squeeze page that gets them to do a certain thing, to download a certain thing, so you can capture their email address, so that goes on your email list, and now you can send them more emails, give them real content and promotions. That would be direct response advertising, even though it might look like branding advertising. Do you see the difference? And you'll see that, yes, most people who go on podcasts don't do any of this. They're just answering questions, and they're there as part of branding advertising. And again, if you're a huge, massive company and you have all the time in the world, I guess go ahead. I would never do this. That'd be insane. And the few times I have done this, there have been a few times, I've been in business a long time. There have been a few times in the past I've done that. I've been on other people's podcasts or what have you, and I forgot to do it. That's a mistake on my part. I didn't mean to do that. I was stupid. Direct response advertising should be the only advertising and or marketing you do. Even if you do free stuff like this YouTube video. Whenever I do YouTube videos, you saw me just do it. I said, hey, if you like this content, subscribe to this channel. That is a direct response model. I'm getting the reader or the watcher to actually do something, right? Right. I don't do anything, or at least I try not to do anything, free or paid, where there's not some aspect of direct response, trying to get you to actually physically do something. You need to follow that model. That's where the big money is. Once you get to the big money, once you own a multi-billion-dollar corporation, then do whatever you want. But until then, 100% of your stuff should be direct response marketing and nothing else. If you want more detail on this, on free marketing versus paid marketing, you should watch that video right there, and I'll see you in that video.